cord so there's not a shadow over my face.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. Are you recording right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'll cut it out. All right, so we said we were gonna get some more content out. Snowmageddon version 17 started tonight. We were gonna do this next week with a couple more people, but we were the only two in town. So we figured, hey, we will give it a whirl, talk about some electrical cables, kind of like what we've done. We've done a lot of updating, I would say, in the last 2 years. We'll talk about some things that we've done, some things we used to do, some things that a lot of people shouldn't do, but they do it. Just, I don't know, just some awareness maybe and whatnot. But, disclaimer, we aren't telling you to do anything. So if you try and pin it on us, it'll fall back on you. No. But anyway, we're not telling anybody what to do. Most of what we're going to talk about is going to be best practices. So you need to go and figure out your own way of doing it by following like NEC guidelines. That'd be a big hint. And if you're going to do anything yourself, definitely make sure a professional checks it out. But we are by no reasons professionals. We have a lot of friends that have a lot of experience in the electrical industry, and they've given us a lot of help. And doing your own research, that's a big thing. In this case, ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance could get somebody killed. So, brief history of what we used to do.
Oh, well, it's been a long time.
So I'd say the big thing is we've all started out, right?
Yeah.
And I think a big thing that when people start out is they don't have a lot of money to spend on stuff, especially like electrical equipment.
You gotta use what you have.
You gotta use what you have. And unfortunately, a lot of cases that's doing things probably not up to speed, but I would say the only difference is like if it's a band, typically, the only people that you're putting in harm's way is yourself.
True.
We always did, like I said, we have a lot of friends that were, into the electrical industry and things like that. So everything we did was done right. Mm-hmm. But we all had cords that definitely didn't meet NEC guidelines and stuff like that. So the big thing was once we moved into the production realm and the band was over, we started building up that inventory of the proper cabling, doing things 100% the right way. But that's also from like my perspective as trying to run a company and seeing other production companies out there not doing things the right way. I think the big thing that you read on like forums and stuff is the orange extension cords, the yellow extension cords, the Walmart hardware special.
Yep.
I don't think people necessarily realize that a lot of those extension cords are like 16 gauge, and you're plugging that into a 20 amp circuit. It's pretty easy to overload that.
Real warm.
They get real warm.
Yes.
And to the point where they you worry that they're gonna melt through the carpet kind of warm. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you overload that, you have some serious danger there. Same thing with like, and I got one. So I hung on to this. This is a cord that came with a moving headlight or something, a power can, I don't know. And the jacket is that classic, crappy jacket that you can't move until it gets warm.
Right.
Well, so this is 18 gauge.
I was gonna say, this would be another reason why we also did our own cords, so we can know what they are.
This is 18 gauge.
Yeah.
This is also, come on, focus. This is not a nitric end. This is a crappy Chinese copy. In fact, it is a Lord Sunny is the brand. So before I take this apart though, if this will focus on it or not, let me get, come on.
Show them where the cord connects there.
Yeah, you can see the jacket peeling back. Maybe you can't. The other thing I can pretty much just expose this thing. So these scare me. So I kind of almost hate to admit it, but we had a few of these in service before we knew what we knew. I would say over the last 2 to 3 years, we've been updating all of our electrical inventory. This garbage is gone now, and I feel a lot better about it.
Yeah, I agree. After seeing those and what they all were, I'm shocked that we didn't have something more happen to us.
Yeah, I know.
With them.
I know. I mean, we've all been in those venues where, you know, you grab onto something in the dark and you get a shock. And I would say, you know, even when we were doing the band, we would make sure as much as we could that we were on our own power distro because everything was just so. And that was a 50 amp distro that we, you know, hand built. And even today, my 50 amp distro was hand built. My 200 amp single phase distro was hand built by myself. And we did that because we saved a pile of money. Same thing with, brought some cords home. We built all of our extension cords. So, again, we're not telling you how to do anything, just kind of sharing what we do. So, like all of our stage feeders are the rubber quad boxes because this is what the NEC guide says that you need to use. The metal boxes have knockouts on them, which is obviously you can knock those out and stick a finger in, spill liquid into them, do all of those things. These are not gonna do that.
Right. Well, and more so too, even if there is some sort of wire that happened to get connected to the inside of the box,
right?
It's rubber.
It's rubber,
not metal.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say if you're looking to build stage feeders, I would look into these. So these boxes came from OA Windsor. I'm sure there's a tons of videos that have OA Windsor's, you know, name mention. Jim does a great job putting these boxes together. His website has come a long ways since it was a few years ago, and he's got guides on cable gauge, which cinches to order with your boxes. These are invaluable for us. We do all home run cables for our stage runs. I don't have any string through boxes. That's definitely overkill for sure. I mean, tons of people have string through boxes because you're plugging in a guitar pedal, you know, or even a pedal board that's pulling such little power. But you know, these are heavy duty 12 gauge extension cords for our stage feeders, and that's what we chose to do.
Yep.
We run out of capacity in outlets far faster than we run out of capacity in what we can provide. Oh, also, this episode brought to you by Coors Light. So, table talk.
Hey, do you want to grab me another one? Please. She's walking away.
Well, when you come back, ring 2. So, the other thing I would say that we've spent a lot of time on, I've spent a lot of time on this year, is...
I'm going to say we.
Yeah. A worm in my pocket. So what I've done is I came up with a labeling scheme. Somebody's very rudely being loud in the background. Thanks. So, what we did is we primarily have two kinds of cord. We have SJ, which is junior service cord, and we've got SO, which is the extra hard duty service cord. So, for all of our Edison type plugs, I went with a black and white. And basically what that is to signify is that cord has an SO jacket. These adapters are an exception to the rule, but they're kind of noted. But if it's an SJ jacket, they have a all black cord. We have, obviously, like a lot of companies, various different people going into the cable trunks and grabbing jackets, and we wanted it to be very clear, very easy to understand when you use what cord and what cord is what cord. So anything that's got a black cord is a junior jacket, and anything that's got a black and white, that one's an exception. But
Yeah, I also want to point out though that you color coded it for us too.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get to that.
Okay.
But thanks for ruining the surprise.
That's all right.
So yeah, if it's got a black jacket, it's a junior service cord, and if it's a black and white, it is a extra heavy duty, which can be used on the ground and things like that. So yeah, but I hand built every single one of these cables. It took a long time. I think I've built and relabeled, so took apart every single end of the cords we had built, close to like, I don't know, 7/10 of a mile of electrical cord. And probably 1,200 of that, 1,250 is new to us this year, and there's another 500 feet sitting in my living room. So you can never have too much. Like I said, we try and do as much home run cable as we can, so basically not interrupting that current with an extension cord or a breakout or something like that, but putting the power where it needs to be. And like I said, that's probably overkill for sure, but it was just, that was the way we chose to do it. But yeah, so what I did is, that's not coming into focus.
You can still see the color.
Yeah, so it's got a color ring, and then some of the short ones have the length printed on them. Some of the longer, all of the longer ones do. Some of the short ones do. It just kind of, I started doing that after I had started heat shrinking these, but yeah. So it's got the label on it, so it says LLS.
So we know it's ours.
So we know it's ours.
I can tell you the labeling made the last show we did much easier for me.
Yeah. So basically, it's a. I used a purple ring for 3 foot. I used
Red ring?
red for 5.
And green for 15.
Green for 15, and what we did was 3, 5, 15, 30, 50, 70, and 100. That's just what we chose to do. Mostly because on a 200-foot reel of cable, 5, 15, 30, 50 worked out really well. I could get, I think, my math is going to be wrong, but it was like 2 or 3 50-footers, 2 or 3 30-footers, couple of 15s, some 5s, out of 250 feet, which was the most economical way to buy cable.
That adds up.
It adds up, and it adds up really fast. But yeah, so I probably, from going out, developing and purchasing an electrical system with a vendor, we probably saved ourselves, probably $6,000 once it was all said and done. Mm-hmm. But it's exactly tailored to our needs are. And the other thing that we did was, our big distro, so our 200 amp single phase distro, is basically a big brother copy of our little distro, our 50 amp distro. And what that allows us to do is basically, on a 50 amp, we're not using our full sound system, we're using a smaller sound system, but it just basically allows us to scale things really, really nicely. And that helps out a ton too, because we don't need 4 different trunks for different electrical systems. A lot of people are like, why don't you build a 3-phase distro? And it's because I didn't want to, and this worked out good for us. The 200 amp provides us with a ton of headroom, and I think the last show we did, we were pulling 50 amps total off of the whole thing. So it's super efficient, and it works out well for us. But yeah, the orange extension cord thing is, that's a thing of the past for us, and I would say if you're getting into production, you should definitely be replacing those. And the other thing is know your electrical code, because that's huge. And I will admit, the electrical code, the NEC guide for, I forget what the latest update year was, but it is printed in hieroglyphics, I will say that. I had to consult some friends that knew what they were talking about, and really went through to make sure that all of our stuff was up to snuff, and going so far as tearing apart the stuff that we had already done that we thought was good, and basically rebuilding it from the ground up, making sure that it was up to snuff. And it's it is just like a eternal bleed. Like, twist the knife when you go to events and you see another contractor that potentially beat you out on something, that might have great equipment as far as, speakers and gear and stuff like that. But then you see, in reality, unsafe electrical practices being draped across the stage with, people utilizing it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not willing to take that chance of, some stray voltage or meltdown or anything else that could possibly happen where, you could potentially be putting someone's life on the line. It's just, that's not something I want to do. And, I don't know, others are comfortable with it for some reason. It's just not how we want to do things, but
Well, so yeah, I was gonna say. So speaking of cabling, since you're going over cabling and everything like that, we did have an issue at our last.
I figured that out.
Oh, okay. Because you said it might have something to do with the jacketing of the ends.
Of the Cat 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not these.
No, but so it was just on the Cat 5. It had nothing to do with the snake that we had.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, good. I mean, that's one less thing.
One less thing. It's still got to be updated because they haven't. The firmware on those things hasn't been updated in ages.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, that was so. So what happened was we were getting basically electrostatic discharge. So on our snake system, anytime, and it was bizarre. Anytime you grabbed a cable, you grabbed a microphone, even so much as just touch a speaker enclosure. You would discharge the static electricity that had built up in the gear, which happens, and I think one of the reasons that had never happened to us is because that was, it was a big church, and there was probably, I don't know, 300 square yards of carpet, and 9 times out of 10 were on concrete pavement. Grass, gravel, and we aren't in that environment. We don't do many things indoors. Pretty much everything we've done is outdoors. Or if it's indoors, it's a bar and it's
wood,
tile,
yeah,
concrete, what have you. And it was the winter in Minnesota, and everybody has a nylon jacket on. So the static charge in the room was probably unreal, if you had a way of measuring that. But anyway. So you'd grab something and it would discharge that, and one of our S16 stage boxes would disconnect. And we had our speakers on the second part of the chain, and every time it would do that, it would just thunderous
snapping,
and just
shotgun sounding
noises. Yeah. And but one of the things that we did, and it'd be so hard to replicate, but I think we ended up, because of convenience, sheer convenience, neglect, whatever, we were using our distro, and for my front of house board, we were on the house power. So I think if everything had been grounded together, we would have been fine. Just because I think that would have helped probably discharge that, I don't know, more uniformly, maybe not, I don't know. I'm not a physicist by any means. I have very little understanding of it. There's a guy on YouTube. I didn't know we were going to go down this road, but I should have remembered his name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He's done a ton of research on shielding versus unshielding. He made a probe so that he could discharge static electricity to the console, to the stage box, and everything. And it was really interesting. I got a lot of knowledge from that guy. But yeah, that was all. So
good.
Yeah, and we had shielded Cat 5, but I was not using the shielding because it just one of those things that never cropped up. It's kind of that ignorance factor. Until ignorance is not bliss in this industry.
Right.
Ignorance will get you into trouble. Fortunately, we were able to, overcome that afternoon, and
we made it work.
We made it work, and nobody's life was in danger or anything like that. No. That was just at the end of the day, if we'd have been using an analog snake, never would have had any idea that there was static electricity in the room. So, but yeah, made it work. It was good. Lasted all weekend. Luckily, we don't have to buy a new S16. So, but let me tell you, the butt cheeks were wore out that afternoon. Yeah.
There was no relaxing prior to the first band. That was
no. And it was weird too because we'd have an event, the only way to deal with it was to cut power to the speakers, turn back on. It could be 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes before we would, create that electrostatic discharge. And yeah, it was just at like any given time it would crop up and malfunction, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so that was not fun. I was gonna say fun, but it was not fun. Anything you want to touch on?
No, I like the updates we're making. It's going to make everything smooth. Anybody that we have coming in to help us, extra help that's not normally there, should make everything.
That's the thing, yeah.
nice
And then
and easy.
inside our cable trunks, I'm gonna have like maps of what everything is, when it should be used, because there is differences in these jackets, and I'm not even gonna go over it because I don't want to accept, liability. Like I said, don't do what I tell you to do. Do something else. Go figure it out on your own. But it's very clear as to what should be used for what, when, and then
That works for us.
pick your length. Like that's kind of the big thing. That's the only variable in our setup for our contractors, the guys that help us out is, do I need a 5 foot or do I need a 30 foot? Which I like it like that. Take the questioning out of it, and even for myself who I wouldn't need the labels, but it's nice to have them.
I like the labels.
I know you like the labels. Oh, people are gonna ask, and I'm just gonna go over it.
Trying to grab
This one. On our Edisons, I've already had people ask me, why did you use 15 amp plugs? Well, this is 14 gauge cable. We do not power any of our main equipment with Edison. It's all PowerCon. It's all like L1420s or the L520s. All of our main equipment is used for that. So if it's an Edison, good up to 18 amps, and I shouldn't have even said that, but it's good up to 18 amps, and it's used for things, not stuff.
Yeah.
It's for running to a guitar cab, or it's running to whatever.
Yep.
Not powering half of our line array. We have other cables for that, and that's the whole purpose of it. So like this is also rental cable. I think we have 500 feet of that in different various lengths, and that's the stuff that people can come and rent for a wedding, to run Christmas lights or whatever. But then it's up to that NEC guideline. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that makes
Yeah.
sense.
That makes sense for us. So that's,
Yeah.
so it really
So
matters.
hopefully it makes sense for you to go figure out what you're going to do, because we claim no responsibility to anything that you're going to do.
What look she just gave.
She giving a good look? That's all right. So we'll do more of these. I think these tech table talks, truck talks are going to be nothing about anything.
No.
But I just
it'll
think they're going to be funny.
Yep.
They're going to be gap fillers. But
I like gap fillers.
I'll have to put like a over that or something. I don't know. That was probably inappropriate, but most of what happens is inappropriate in our world. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Looking for the next one.
Yeah, we'll do more.
Have to get Craig in on some.
23 minutes.
I'll have to edit that.
I know. I mean, this is gonna be like uncut, front to back. I mean, this is just for our own
Yeah.
fun. You
Okay.
know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's okay. Subscribe though.
Like and subscribe, or don't. You can smash this one. Thumbs down. I don't care. Like I said, you do one for them, you do one for you. And I feel like most of these are probably going to be just for
That's
us.
right.
But yeah. Anyway, so like, subscribe, like us on Facebook or social media. What's your tag for Instagram?
Mine.
Yeah.
The Smarticus.
The Smarticus.
Yeah.
I think. What's mine? Are you public? Public?
Yeah. Yours is it's Adam LLS.
Oh, that was inappropriate.
That was nice.
No, that's inappropriate.
90% of your Instagram's inappropriate.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's Adam LLS. All lowercase. I don't know if that matters. I don't know how to use Instagram really. All I find on Instagram is.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe. Don't like, I don't care. Subscribe, but hey, we had a good time.
That's right.
And there's more beer to be had in the fridge.